Hurricane Sandy took place during the end of October in 2012. It affected different parts of Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Virginia, a total area of roughly 800 miles. The flooding most directly affected the coasts of these states. This picture shows the path and magnitude of Hurricane Sandy as it heads for the East Coast. This next image shows the most likely affected areas, with the greatest threat being storm surges along the coast. The hurricane's direction is controlled by the Coriolis effect. The hurricane is in the northern hemisphere, so the winds being pulled towards the area of low pressure in the center, shown by the black arrows, are being deflected to the right. This causes the circular motion of the hurricane winds, as shown by the yellow arrows. This counterclockwise motion sets the hurricane on a path towards the east coast, as shown by the red arrows. The water being churned up by the hurricane caused storm surges up to 13.7 feet. A full moon occurred the day of Hurricane Sandy made landfall. Therefore, the tides were at their peak, as shown in the figure on the next slide. The flooding increased to the amount it did because of this. As you can see, when the sun, moon, and earth are in line, the moon's gravitational pull creates a higher tide. Hurricanes depend on warm, humid air to feed them, and because the ocean has warmed 1.53 degrees Fahrenheit from 1880 to 2012, we are seeing an increase in the magnitude of hurricanes. A total of 1 million people were ordered to evacuate their homes due to risks of flooding. These people lived in low-lying areas that were likely to be flooded. Sandbags were used to try to slow or stop the water, but it was hardly effective in this situation. Because Hurricane Sandy was so detrimental, in the aftermath, New York considered adding more effective measures of protection that places such as New Orleans use. Due to Hurricane Sandy, roughly 5 million people were without power. 500,000 of those people lived in Manhattan. The stock market also shut down for roughly 2 consecutive days. The United Nations headquarters in New York were closed for a period of time. Nearly 14,000 flights were canceled. 7 major subway tunnels were flooded. The Hudson and East Rivers began to overflow. 106 people were killed, with most of the deaths being attributed to drowning. Overall, Hurricane Sandy's economic costs were $65 billion. It was a huge storm that changed the way the Northeast coast prepared for hurricanes and flooding.
Created using Powtoon.